Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Thanks for hanging with us here at Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. A lot of folks write in about some things they've seen before on the show. We're going to pull this one out from the archives. We think you'll love it. Shock Therapy is the premier destination for off-road suspension tuning, and you're going to find out why. Now, Justin Smith started this company about a decade ago. And Justin, for the folks that may not know Shock Therapy, give an overview of what you guys do here.
You know, what we do is within the UTV and off-road industry, we pretty much make UTVs ride better, or for your particular needs. If you're a racer and you need to go fast, we can dial that in. If you're kind of a cruiser in the mountains, we can do that as well. So every time we touch one, we kind of make it exactly what that person wants.
And what was that evolution like? You know, word of mouth and everything. Where'd this all start? You're in a massive facility here.
As a matter of fact, it was in my 3-car garage and grew up very slowly over time. But when that started with just a small amount of people and us doing it ourselves, we really were able to touch every single customer perfectly. And we learned a lot about what they wanted. We were able to put that in all of our products today.
We see here in your shop, folks have brought their vehicles in for you to do the suspension on them. Now, folks are able to do that at your facility here and in North Carolina. What about folks that can't bring their vehicle in?
You know, we have a mail-in program that we call Shock in a Box. And everywhere in the United States and other countries, we get shocks in here to do the tuning for them. Australia, South Africa, and other countries that you may not even realize that UTVs are in, we get shocks from. But we're able to dial that in by having an appointment system. Every car you see in here and every shock that is mailed to us is scheduled for a specific day. So that customer knows that if their appointment is on the 3rd, they have their vehicle to us on the 2nd, it's done and it leaves on the 3rd. If it's mailed into us, it's done and it mails out on the 3rd. So shock internals, modifications, rebuilds, spring kits, we can do all the installation of rack and pinion, tie rod systems, radius rods, and other components. We make a lot of things to allow these vehicles to go faster than stock.
The secret is in the parts you use here. Now, first of all, let's talk about the OE shocks and the OE suspension that's coming from the manufacturer. They're good, but why don't they always work when you start getting more and more into off-roading?
The OEMs have to tune for the masses. Well, the fact is the masses aren't exactly all of us. We want to play with this stuff exactly the way we want it done. So we're able to tune UTVs to do the specific job for each individual's needs. If you start adding weight or accessories to these, they sit too low and don't ride very well. Well, we fix that with spring kits. And if you drive a little bit too hard or harder than the UTVs are designed to be used, we can fix that too and allow you to do what you need with your car.
And you've told me as you start to go faster and faster, things start to break in succession there.
Exactly. The succession of breakage and components follows the speed at which you're going to drive. And we are enthusiasts just like our customers are. So we've driven these speeds and seen what the first things are to break, and we manufacture a component to fix that. After you fix that part, you might find that the next thing to go is short down the line, and we make that component as well. You can see kind of a list of components on this bench right in front of us.
And these are the same parts you can find on the Mud Monster behind us, and also really this closer to stock vehicle as well. Different parts for different folks here.
Yes, a lot of people think that we just tune for race cars because the racers are the ones that typically break everything, but that's absolutely, couldn't be farther from the truth. We tune for the guy that drives super slow, retired on the weekend, and just does trail riding and wants to be relaxed and comfortable. Well, we also tune for things like this Mud Monster behind us that's completely on the other side of the spectrum that most people are never going to do. But where most of our components live is in that happy space between the two, where people need a little bit more out of their vehicle, and we make the parts to do that.
Let's talk about some of the components on this monstrosity back here, starting with the sway bar here. That's something we're going to find on there. How is that an upgrade from what might be stock on the UTV?
Factory UTVs typically have a lot of body roll, and a lot of people don't like that feeling when they enter into a corner, and sway bars typically fix that. Stops a lot of the body roll that you get when you enter a corner pretty quick. So sway bars can give a feeling of stability, safety, corner speeds you typically will go up, but sway bars aren't the answer to everything. Fast desert driving might be a home run for sway bars, but on the East Coast with trail riding and slower speeds, independence might be the way to go. So no sway bar or disconnected sway bars for certain terrain in use, and stiffer sway bars and adjustability for others.
And after we're talking sway bar, what's another consideration here? You have the rack and pinion. How is this more beefy than what I might find on a stock UTV?
So usually the first accessory people put on their UTV is a set of wheels and tires. They more than likely weigh more than the factory system, and that extra weight puts a lot of stress on the steering and other suspension components. Factory rack and pinions tend to wear out pretty quick, and the last thing you want is a little slop in the steering. So we build completely in-house, billet and high-quality components inside of our rack and pinions. Rack and pinion systems typically that we make don't wear out over time and give a lot more stability to the vehicle as you start adding weight to it. Other things that we find as you kind of go through that progression of components that you had already mentioned, steering and tie rod systems. We've got tie rods saying here as well, and all of our tie rod kits are adjustable so that you can fix the geometry issues that you might run into with a list of the aftermarket accessories. Fix bump steer, which bump steer is a change in tow and comes back into the steering as feedback that most people don't want. And our tie rod kits fix that. Extension clunk is very, very common with UTVs, and a limit strap kit that we offer cures all of that so you don't wear out parts inside the shock as well. Other things that we have besides sway bars, sway bar links, are electronic shock upgrades. We've got a system called IQS, or Intelligent Quick Switch, which allows you to take a manually adjusted and tuned shock externally and make that electronic, where you can tune it on the fly on the dash, so you can run soft and plush when you're going at slow speeds, or you can turn it up if you want to hit that jump or that G out a little bit too hard.
All kinds of parts and accessories, things that are going to make your ride a whole lot nicer and maybe a whole lot faster if that's what you're looking for. Shock therapy is the place to go, and we've got a whole lot more. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by Dragonfire Tools next.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, is brought to you by Amsoil, the first in synthetics, and by NextGen, the most powerful detailing products ever made.
Hey there, Motorheads. You're locked into Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com. I know you love off-roading just like all of us do here at Motorhead Garage. And when folks buy a side-by-side like this, of course, they roll it off the line chain. As soon as they get it home, they take it out for a spin, they realize it needs a couple of things. So what are the first mods they want to make to a UTV like this?
Probably the number one thing is a front window. As soon as they go down the road at 50 miles an hour down a dirt trail or whatever else, and they realize the bugs and the dust and everything coming in, they decide that that's a necessary thing.
And Dirt Warrior Accessories, that's how you guys started. How did you develop your first windshields?
We didn't like anything that was on the market, so we kind of started making up some different ideas and come up with a couple of things. One unique thing we have is the vent system on these windows. So you can open it up to get airflow during the summer when it's hot, and then close it up. Yes. With the vents, when it opens up, it actually forces the air in, just to the natural dynamics of the car.
And the next step after the front windshield, folks are probably adding the back window.
The back window, it makes a big difference on the dust boiling down the road. The faster you go, the faster it comes in, and all of a sudden you notice the people in the back with the dirt all over their shoulders and everything
coming down
else.
the shirt and everything else.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you guys developed those as well. And then when it came to the sides, the only option that was available for a long, long time, it was just like a golf cart. Kind of had the isinglass, and sort of just a plastic side. And what was wrong with that when you're driving a side-by-side?
The downfalls to those are, as soon as any dust or mud or anything gets on them and you wipe them off, they scratch really easy. And then all you're looking at is just a scratched window. They didn't seal off that great. They kind of flopped around, made a lot of noise that way. That's why we come into making these things out of full glass. And this is all full 1/4-inch safety glass. All the aluminum, we use 1/8-inch aluminum for the sides. Everything's powder coated. Everything is built right there in St. George, Utah.
What's the installation process like? I know we put this in, it didn't take very long. So walk folks through what it takes to put one of your enclosures in.
Okay, so if you'll notice some of the screw holes here, this is actually how it's put on. Everything that we have installed uses factory holes that are already existing.
So I'm not drilling into my brand new side-by-side and making holes where they don't belong, which is a good thing.
Right, because all of us hate doing that.
Yep.
We tried to make this thing look as close to factory as we could. All the factory holes that we use are existing. We come up with some different brackets that kind of hold the system in place. Easy to get in and out of. Turn the handles and pull it open. Reach inside, open up the door, goes back in, shuts back, and this locks the handle back in so it's nice and tight. It's secure, but it's able for the car and cage to move around, because with these cars on the off-road and all the suspension, the way it works and everything, they're moving around. We didn't want to put any stress on the glass that we didn't have to.
That's for sure. And what about rattles and stuff like that? I know that's a big concern with folks.
It is. So we tried to make sure that every part that touches anything is sealed off with rubber so that we can cut down on as many squeaks as possible. And the way that everything's locked in, we try to lock it as tight. I mean, like if you feel these are really solid on there, even in the front doors, which work kind of the same way. Turn the handle on the top, move the door here. Actually has a whole fill-in piece to take the window off if you want to. You can just lift it up, take it off, or slip it right back on. And you're ready to go back out again.
Very cool. And the installation process, typically, how long does it take for an entire vehicle if you want to enclose it?
Probably about an hour to do the whole thing, give or take.
Faster if you have a buddy as well.
Absolutely.
How many different makes and models do you cover with your enclosures?
Currently, right now, we have 12 different machines that we cover with the full enclosures. Now, as far as front and back windows, we cover pretty much every machine out there. We have a front and back for them. We are slowly working on all the enclosures.
What about colors? What are my choices?
We can do these in about any powder coating color, even the things with the normal color we do is black. It's a textured black, seems to hold up better in the trees and stuff, but we offer in about any color.
Dirt Warrior Accessories, not just about these enclosures, which are amazing. They've got just about every accessory you need for your side-by-side, and coming soon, heating and air. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com, so do not touch that dial.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, coming to you from the Campbell's Custom Care Studio.
You know, some e-bikes on the market are all about form and they don't work very well, or they're all about function and they look like garbage. Well, here's a bike from Pro E-Rides that looks fantastic and it goes like stink. This thing is a great bike. It's really comfortable. Why was it important for you, Josh, to bring a bike to the market that looks good and also can get you where you're going very efficiently?
Well, that was what I feel the problem was before coming into the market. So many e-bikes just didn't look right, you know. So we like to keep it looking kind of moto-esque, bringing in that motocross feel.
Nostalgic look to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, the function, get the nice suspension on there and go everywhere.
We've been calling it the Fat e-bike. What's the official model name?
It's the Akez dual battery fat tire e-bike.
You have lots of e-bikes on the website on proerides.com. This one in particular, dual battery.
Dual
what are the
battery.
advantages for that?
More power, longer ride time.
You can run one at a time.
Yep.
But you're not going to get as much power there. So
Yeah.
When of course folks are going to want to know what's the battery life.
Per charge, you go about 37 miles,
It's not bad at all. And then how long does it take to recharge?
about 6 hours recharge time.
So perfect for a commute for a lot of folks as well. And what's the top speed?
32 miles per hour.
All right, and we've got a 7-speed gearbox here, so you're able to shift through the gears like a regular bicycle as well, and that also works along with the electric too to get you better gearing.
Yeah, both pedal assist, full electric, so you have the choice.
And why is it important to you to have a bike that's also comfortable? It looks great, but why is comfort such a big deal?
Because if you're going to be riding this for any sort of time, you got to be comfortable.
And what do you find is the audience for this bike? Who's buying a bike like this?
I'd probably say the younger crowd, they go for the look a lot.
One thing I really dig about here is the control panel. What kind of functions am I able to do through the little panel here?
So through the LCD, it'll show you your miles per hour, your energy range, you got your odometer, how long you've been on your ride, you got different passenger settings.
Safety is important. Of course, the big tires get tons of traction. You've got the horn and lights on the front and back as well for riding at night and for safety during the day. So that's great. And one thing that I really like is the throttle. You see a lot of ATVs with a little thumb switch, the thumb throttle, and a lot of electric bikes like that as well. Why did you decide to go with a twist throttle?
Again, you know, bringing back the moto-esque feel of things, not to mention comfortability, because I feel like this is a lot better than this, you know. Easier control too.
And how do you make it easier for an owner to bring someone along with them with this bike?
Add in the foot pegs.
And plenty of power to carry 2 people as well.
Yep, the suspension helps too, you know, getting 2 people on there, so makes it a nice plush ride.
And this isn't the only bike you offer at Pro E-Rides. How many different rides do you have on the website?
We have 23 different e-bikes on there, ranging from all different types of uses. We got a full mountain bike dresser, we got cruisers. We actually have a new cruiser that is in manufacturing right now that's coming out in about 3 months.
It's not just about e-bikes too. You expand way beyond that, more electric vehicles as well on the website.
Yes, we also have 16 scooters that range from all different types of looks. We have some scooters that you actually can sit on, some that you just stand. So it's really your preference on what you want to ride.
What if I get to proerides.com and I can't make a decision on what e-bike I need?
Well, we have a blog for that. A nice community of people to share their experiences. So we have blogs on there to help you choose your right ride route, help which vehicle you need.
Not just bikes and scooters on the website. What kind of accessories do you have?
So we have everything from extra grips, bike covers, bike locks, tools, new seats. Basically fit out your whole bike and customize it how you want it.
What about warranty?
We have a year warranty, both on the battery and the bike.
And what if I need to buy extra parts? Where can I find those?
Right on our website, proerides.com.
You can find tons of bikes, tons of scooters, even traditional bicycles as well at proerides.com. All the accessories to go with it, you'll find what you need. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com, so keep it locked here.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. Industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage. And brought to you by PaintedAutoBodyParts.com, the leading U.S. auto body parts online store. Campbell's Custom Care, your detail specialist. And by Dead Scent. Start treating your nose to better days.
This is Motorhead Garage presented by DragonfireTools.com. We know if you're a motorhead, you probably love motorsports. Well, the PRI show, the Performance Racing Industry Show, happens every year in Indianapolis. We were there, and you can't get in unless you're in the business. So Motorhead Garage is your backstage pass, and Ted Jones found some really cool stuff on the grounds.
What's the most popular Chevrolet ever produced, folks? 1957 Chevy, part of the Tri-5 Chevys, 55, 56, 57. This is a beautiful example. This belongs to Jeff Lutz. He actually is on the street racing series you see on television. He built that just for that to happen. A really hot LS motor took the place of the original 283 that would have come in it. He's added some custom things like the steering wheel and a custom console and things like that. Of course, it's a beautiful black example of a 1957 Chevy. Take a look under the hood right there. He's got plenty of engine and with a built Be Cool radiator. And I understand this car is very fast on the street.
Perhaps you want to get a few more miles per gallon, maybe a hybrid's for you. Welcome to this Amsoil Tech Tip. This Ford F-150, yep, it's a hybrid. And you know, there's a lot of special service precautions that go on with a hybrid, and oil is just as important. But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit about hybrids. What's going on? Well, you have an ICE engine, internal combustion engine. And sandwiched in between that, well, there's your actually hybrid motor, your electric motor that goes in between that and the transmissions. You could have a couple different types of hybrids. You can have the one right there on the top is a series hybrid. It's just feeding the battery packs, and then the motor and the actual electric motors driving the vehicle. On the bottom, well, it's a parallel, both of them, the ICE engine, the internal combustion engine, and the hybrids driving it. And you got a series parallel, which everything kind of helps as you're going along. But that's a big problem because this is a Ford F-150, but there's Priuses, there's Accords, there are low compression engines. They don't develop a lot of heat. Oil is the key here, hybrid oil as a matter of fact.
Right, it requires a specialized product because those engines that you talked about have a tendency to produce condensation. And water and oil, they're not friends. So you have to formulate the product to deal with that moisture. We do that by adding rust and corrosion protection into the formulary.
Now, something I've never seen before, Len, is 0W16. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, 16 weight, that's the thinnest recognized oil out there right now. And with a 16, there's not a lot of room for failure. So you really need to make sure that that oil is built properly right out of the gate.
Now, any hybrid, it's a good idea to put hybrid motor oil in it. I mean, it's specific. Everybody's just dumping normal oil in there, not a good idea.
No, it's not good in the long run. As you're hanging on to these cars longer, this is where you want to be at. It's going to deal with these issues, provide a nice, reliable, problem-free protection.
Now, these hybrid vehicles are full of technology, so you better make sure that your oil is too. And Amsoil's up for that task. So if you're driving a hybrid, make sure you go to Amsoil.com. Check out their hybrid oil selection and all their other phenomenal products.
If you want to be the paintedautoparts.com Motorhead of the Week, all you have to do is go to motorheadgarage.tv or to our social media and send us a note. Walter Codicito did just that. Now, Walter used to be a Jeep guy until he and his wife Cynthia found out about the new Bronco, and they just had to have one. And now they're all about Broncos. Walter even runs the Las Vegas Bronco Club out there in Nevada. Cynthia is a disabled Army veteran, and Walter has had 2 Broncos built in her honor. Both Broncos were big hits at the SEMA show. Their Freedom Bronco was built by Counts Customs, and it won Best of SEMA in 2022. Walter belongs to an organization called Southern Nevada Off-Road Recovery. They help folks whose vehicles are stranded or stuck, and they help them get out free of charge. And of course, Walter was instrumental in getting the organization's first Bronco outfitted for recovery missions. From spreading the gospel of the Bronco to honoring veterans to helping people recover vehicles stuck off-road, we'd say Walter Codicito is a first-class motorhead, and that makes him worthy of the honor, paintedautoparts.com Motorhead of the Week. Thank you for writing in, Walter, and thank you, Cynthia, for your service and sacrifice. And thanks to you for tuning in to Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. We will do it again next week, and we'll have more great gear for your ride. From everyone here, so long. Drive safely.